What do you think you're doing in here? Who let you in?
Mademoiselle Angeline, I presume. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Officer Hercule Poirot.
An officer of the law? But what are you doing here? Don't you need to be chasing down the burglar?
Your bracelet has gone missing. It is only correct. I speak with all members of the house and investigate the scene of the crime.
Ah, if we must.
Merci. I will attempt to take up as little of your time as possible.
Some rat stole my bracelet this morning. Even though it's clear someone has broken in, Maman refused to listen and blamed Fleurette.
You sound very convinced it was taken by someone from outside of the house.
My window was open when I returned. How else can you explain that? It is of great value. Money was no object to father.
It was a gift from your father. I can only assume it holds great value to you also.
Of course it does. What a silly thing to say. It's a good thing Maman had it insured with the others. It must have been while I was down at breakfast with Elizabeth. She was with me all morning.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth was with you until you discovered the bracelet was missing?
She was. She woke me up later than usual. I washed and dressed, and we went down to the lounge for breakfast.
You have been of great help to my investigation, mademoiselle. I will do everything I can to Ah. Huh. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh. Huh. Huh. Mm-hmm. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. Things are beginning to become clear.
The longer you are here, the further the criminal goes with my bracelet. But by all means, fire away. Is one bracelet not enough? I have checked everywhere. You can ask Elizabeth if you don't believe me. It is only my bracelet that is missing.
As I have stated, it is my duty to speak with every member of the house, and I would not want to have discovered a further missing piece later.
How should I know? I returned to the room and father was face down on the floor. It must have been the burglar.
So it is your father that is the subject.
Isn't he handsome? I remember watching him sit for it. He kept looking across and smiling at me. The artist was getting awfully angry at him. Maman never wants to talk about him. She says it's too hard, but she acts more like she doesn't even care he's gone.
I'm sure that is not the case. It must have been very hard for her, for you both.
I miss him every day. He always knew how to put a smile on my face. I remember how much fun we would have, all three of us. In the summer, father and I would play hide and seek while Maman read. She always helped me though whenever it was his turn to hide. I would stand in the gazebo, cover my eyes and count, and when I turned, he was nowhere to be seen. Maman would lower her book and flash a look towards his hiding spot. After I found him, he clapped and cheered as though I had won a gold medal. When I was hiding, it didn't matter where I was. He could never find me. I always thought I was an expert hider, but when I think back now, I know he was letting me win. He always said my smile was prize enough for him. He always knew just what to say.
I am sure he would want you to be smiling today, even under such circumstances. You have been of great help to my investigation, mademoiselle. I will do everything I can to find the culprit and return your bracelet. Mademoiselle Elizabeth, I hope you are feeling less distressed now. I can assure you I shall find the guilty party and the bracelet.
Thank you, officer. Yes. All I want is for Florette to be heard.
Bien sûr. Rest assured she will get the fair trial she deserves. I wonder if you could help me with some questions regarding the house.
Of course. Whatever I can do to help. Now I think of it, I don't recall seeing her memento tin. She holds her keepsakes from her father and other gifts or tokens in it. She has such a wonderful collection. She's very lucky. She normally keeps it close, but I didn't see it this morning. When I left, Madame was with Florette in there. Surely she would not have locked her in. It must have been an accident.
Madame van den Bosch should not be deciding her fate. Would you grant me access to speak with her?
I would, sir, but I don't have the key. There is a spare somewhere, though. Oh, how awful, the thought of her locked in there.
Do you have any thoughts as to where I may find it?
I'm sorry. Madame does not trust the staff with such knowledge, even me. Although I did overhear her once say it was hidden somewhere, close to her heart. Whatever that means.
Merci, mademoiselle. Your assistant... Magnifique.
Certainly, officer. Madame is the one with the refined taste. Angeline and I are much more partial to a simple love story.
Aren't we all? Romeo and Juliet, the most famous of love stories.
I do enjoy it so. The passion, the romance. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. Madame has a copy upstairs in the main hall.
Merci, mademoiselle. Ah. Finally, it is unlocked.
What exactly do you think you are doing?
If I am to serve justice, I must be able to reach and talk with young Florette.
The girl is guilty and shall pay the price for her crime. I shall see to that. If you wish to listen to her feeble attempts to explain herself, so be it.
Everyone deserves to tell their side of the story, whether a feeble account or not. Mademoiselle Florette, I presume.
Please, officer. I did nothing wrong. You can't take me away.
Please relax, my dear. If you have done nothing wrong, you have nothing to worry about. But it is my duty to investigate all avenues. Ah bon?
Relax. So you don't think I took the bracelet?
As of this moment, I cannot say, but answering my questions honestly will certainly help your case either way.
I didn't even know it was missing till I got accused of taking it. Madame was so angry. She wouldn't listen to me.
There must be some reasoning behind her accusation.
How could I have taken it? I've been in town most of the morning. I was even late coming back. Then I was preparing breakfast. Rihanna the cook is away, so I had to fetch breakfast for the house and prepare it all myself. How does she expect me to do that all on my own?
From what I understand of Madame van den Bosch, she would not have been best pleased you returned late for breakfast.
Not best pleased? I thought she was going to batter me to death with a baguette. I hid in the kitchen and then tried to stay out of sight in the lounge until breakfast was over. Didn't want to put my head near her jaws while she was still hungry.
Perhaps a brave move under the circumstances. And you did not go upstairs at all.
Madame was singeing a hole in the back of my apron with her glare. I daren't have moved. I was too scared to blink the wrong way. Never mind stamping upstairs. I must just be slow, monsieur. My mother always said I moved like the snail. Maybe I was just happy to be out of the house. I had a lot to do. I lost track of time. I wanted to prove to Madame I'm not the useless waif she thinks I am.
Merci. I shall take everything you have told. Oh. Huh. Aha. Ah. Aha. The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. Another success. What a revelation! The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together. I should not be surprised by my own skills. What a revelation! Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Anything to show you I didn't do it. And Madame, I need this job, monsieur. Yes, another thing on my to-do list. I'm afraid it's not in the same condition as when I picked it up.
At whose request?
It was a favor for Lizzie. I didn't mind having to get it.
Merci. I shall take everything you have to...
Certainly, officer. Why, yes, officer! I misplaced it after wiping a stain from Mademoiselle Angelieve's sleeve at breakfast. You are a great detective.
You are not the first to say. Had she not noticed it herself? I imagine Madame would not allow even the smallest imperfection.
It baffles me how she couldn't have. It was only luck that I spotted it before Madame, and a good thing I did. The lounge? A package?
Oui, it is quite hard to miss.
Oh, how silly of me. I must have had my head in the clouds this morning. I'm sorry, I can't help you further. Besides the terrible rain? No. I woke, began my duties with Mademoiselle. I had already laid out a clean dress. I helped her into it, and prepared her for the day before getting started on tidying her room as neat as a pin.
And the bracelet was still there when you left the room for breakfast?
I'm sure of it. I had it down before Mademoiselle Angeline. Madame is under a great deal of strain. It can't have been easy for her to lose her husband, raising Mademoiselle alone. She can be quick to anger.
And this morning, it sounds as though it was such an occasion.
It's not the first time I have had to stand and watch such treatment. I hate to see it. As I said, Madame hasn't had the easiest time. Madame's scolding of Fleurette this morning was the worst I have seen her temper. I wish she could see that Fleurette is just trying to do her best.
Could there have been another reason for such a reaction?
Madame was not happy Fleurette was late. All through breakfast, Madame was watching her with a piercing eye. But she's still learning the way.
Merci, mademoiselle. Your assistance has been invaluable. This will not get me any closer to my... Things are beginning to become clearer. Another success. I never doubted myself. Magnifique.
Certainly, officer. How could I not be? I may not enjoy his other works, but how can one not be blown away by a story of two so deeply in love that they will risk everything just to be together?
Especially being able to draw similarities between Verona's star-crossed lovers to yourself and your dearest.
But I hadn't told.
Mademoiselle, I am an officer of the law. It is my duty to uncover the truth.
Please, you cannot say anything to Madame. She is against staff relationships of any kind. In her eyes, a relationship between staff is nothing more than a distraction.
But he means so much more to you.
Oh, officer, I have found my soulmate. At first, it was nothing more than pleasantries around the grounds. But that quickly changed. I know it's not proper for a young lady to pursue a gentleman. But once I knew his feelings reciprocated my own, why shouldn't I have followed my heart?
Love transcends professional and societal rules.
The mere thought of him was enough to make me blush. But I knew that Madame would never give her blessing. If we wanted to continue, we would have to do so in secret. The summer evenings here are just so beautiful. I often find myself walking around the grounds after my daily duties are complete. And it was one such evening that Luke was waiting for me at the gazebo. He looked ever so handsome. And the poem he had prepared. He had barely started reading and I was already a blubbering mess. Standing there beneath the warm glow of the falling sun, he asked for my hand, and I gave him my heart with no hesitation. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I've been chattering on for so long. You have much more pressing matters than to listen to me rambling aimlessly.
One should never apologize for such a charming and bewitching story of love. But you are correct. While the culprit still eludes us, my work is not yet complete. Merci, mademoiselle. Your assistance has been invaluable. Another success.